What's up, everybody? My name is Simon Hill. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, share this video. So this video is really personal for me. And if you're not going to watch it all the way to the end and you're just going to leave some hateful comment, uh, I'm trying not to cuss in this video. I'm going to keep it clean because I want this video to be a reminder for me, and maybe I'll show it one day to my future kids. I don't have any kids now or anything, but I'm just going to be reflecting on my first marriage and potentially my second marriage because I'm getting married tomorrow. I know I'm talking very low, but I'm just very tired after doing a long workout in the pool, also working for a few hours. So I'm just going to talk about my experiences with my first marriage, also get some advice from my second marriage. I'm really excited and happy to be married to Agdenis. That's the name of my future wife. Uh, she's so sweet. She's the nicest person I've ever met. She's the kindest person. She's who I want to be. I can be kind of a asshole. I can be kind of rude. If you see me out in public or catch me in traffic, I'll give you that cold shoulder and that stone face because I walk around with an S on my chest and a chip on my shoulder. But Act Dennis has a lot of just joy and kindness, and she makes me feel so good. And I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with her. And I'm so lucky that she chose me and I chose her. But I'm going to get some advice from my second marriage and also reflect on mine. So let's look here. Who is Stephen J. Betchen? All right, DSW. He is the first article I'm going to read. I also have an article from a woman that I'm going to look at. So Stephen J. Betchen, DSW, about Stephen J. Betchen earned his doctorate at the University of Pennsylvania with a specialization in marriage and family therapy. He subsequently trained at Penn's renowned Marriage Council of Philadelphia and completed fellowships in psychology, sex therapy at the New York Hospital Cornell University Medical Center, and in psychoanalysis, Freudian, at the Institute of the Philadelphia Association for Psychoanalysis. Dr. Betchen is a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified sex therapist, as well as an AAMFT clinical fellow and approved supervisor and an AASECT diplomate and certified supervisor. He is also a member of S-STAR, Society for Sex Therapy and Research, and the APA, American Psychological Association. He maintains a private practice in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and has served for many years as an adjunct clinical professor in the Couples and Family Therapy graduate program at Thomas Jefferson University, as well as a senior supervisor in the Council for Relationships postgraduate sex therapy program. Dr. Betchen is the author of several scholarly articles and chapters, numerous blogs and magazine pieces, over 500 newspaper columns, and 4 books on relationships. He is the author of the critically acclaimed book Intrusive Partners, Elusive Mates, The Pursuer Distancer, Dynamic in Couples, Rutledge, 2005. His latest book with Heather Davidson is Master Conflict Therapy, A New Model for Practicing Couples and Sex Therapy, Rutledge, 2018. So this guy, Stephen, hope I'm pronouncing your name right, is more than qualified, if his biography is true, to give me some good advice on my second marriage, right? And this article was posted January 30th, 2022, relatively recently. So let's dive into it. So the key points. After a divorce, many people claim to have learned enough to make a better choice the next time. People often do not get to know themselves well enough to understand how their unconscious dictates their mate selection. Knowing yourself and who you are attracted to on the deepest level is the way to prevent replication. Now, I was married for 2 years. I got married in 2017 at 16 years, not 16, 26 years old. Woo, 16. This ain't West Virginia. Um, I got married in 2017 and divorced in 2019. For 2 years, I was married to a Tunisian woman named Halima. And I got married, I believe, for the wrong reasons, I think. I got married because in Sahih Bukhari it says that half of a Muslim's deen is getting married, and that was my big motivation. So I, did whatever it took to get married just so I could be what I envisioned a good Muslim to be, and that was the wrong thing to do. That's a bad justification. I grew to love Halima. I did fall in love with her But that came more after we got married because we spent more time together after married than we did together. And the marriage fell apart pretty much because I was not ready at 26 to be married. At 26, 27, 28, during those years, I was not ready because, number one, I was not confident and sure of myself as a man, of who I wanted to be. I was trying on different hats, trying to pursue something as an identity. Um, that's changed now. I know who I am now. I'm confident in myself and I love myself. I'm dope. But then I really had some, you know, I had some just doubt, coming from America as a black man, always feeling like, you're getting judged and treated differently throughout so many experiences in my life. Those stigmas stuck with me. And then becoming a Muslim and having to learn this whole new culture that I really wanted to be a part of, and I'm still a part of as well. I still identify as Muslim, but less religious as before. So, also at the time, as a man, I just did not have steady income. And, Halima was older than me. She was about a year and a half older than me. And she was ready to settle down. She was ready for kids. She was ready for the house. And I was not ready for that. I was ready to be married, but I didn't know that also as a man, I have to put food on the table. And how can I do that, with a job as precarious as sales, where I'm not sure whether I'm going to get a check this month. So I better call a million people trying to make a sale. So I was just not prepared to be the man that she wanted or I needed to be a husband. Eventually, she, had to get a job in Qatar. She didn't even end up going to America. We didn't even end up going back to the States. And then she filed for divorce. And, you know, it really hurt. It really hurt, because I felt like I was getting everything together, and there were so many times where I just got short with her. I, you know, snapped at her because I was so upset with myself and disappointed in myself that I took it out on her with my words. And that was not good. And I really regret that. I really feel bad for the way I treated her, for what I put her through, and I hope she's in a much better place. I don't have any anger or resentment towards her. It's just more working through those feelings of guilt. I just feel more guilty, than I do anger. In fact, I feel no anger at all or resentment. She didn't take any of my money. She didn't, ruin my life. She didn't put me in jail. She didn't, we don't have kids. I mean, it was just a situation that happened. And it's something I wish I didn't go through, but also at the same time, if I didn't go through that, I would have probably never, got the opportunity to start teaching English, start traveling the world, know more about myself, know more about my deen, so many things. I'm so grateful for that experience, but at the same time, I wish I could have done it better. And I wish her and I could at least be friends, because we did share some, beautiful moments together. But what's done is done. I wish her all the best, and I'm so happy that I'll be with my new wife at Dennis very soon. Tomorrow, we're getting married. I have to remember this date for the rest of my life, May 20th. I could talk forever. Let's continue reading, though. With 40 plus years of conducting couples therapy, I have seen many people who have managed with great pain and effort to extricate themselves from destructive marriages. Once free, I have typically heard them make the following promises. Next time I will find someone with similar interests. Next time I will make sure the person is not an addict. Next time I will find someone with a higher sex drive. Next time I will choose a nicer, less critical person. Next time I will find someone I am more physically attracted to. There's no perfect person in the world except Dennis. She's perfect for me. But but I'll say that we should also ask this question, and I'm just guessing. I'm just giving my opinion here. Next time I will be better. Next time I will do this. Next time I will be less critical, more nice. I think we should also try to reflect on ourselves rather than just pointing the fingers at other people in our relationships, especially if they go wrong, you know? These promises tend to come from the newly divorced rather than the widowed, and usually serve to protect the individual from anxiety associated with future disaster. These people are frightened of a repeat. A recently divorced friend said to me, "I do not mind getting divorced. It was the right thing to do. But I am terrified that I do not have the ability to choose any better the next time around." This post will focus primarily on the divorced and who and how they choose to remarry. The divorced, more often than the widowed, tend to convolute anger and grief in their separation process, adding a certain complexity that makes successful remarriage more tenuous. I will avoid further complications by limiting the discussion to those married no more than twice. There are individuals that promise to never marry again. I attribute this to the current pain they are I attribute this to the current pain they are in and the relief they may be feeling courtesy of their newfound freedom. I usually tell these people that they are presently in a gauntlet but may feel quite different once they heal. Some of these people, however, will remain true to their word. More so, women than men. According to the National Center for Family and Marriage Research, NCFMR, at Bowling Green University, the remarriage rate is consistently higher for men than for women at 37 per 1,000 versus 20 per 1,000 as of 2018. All right. That's interesting. I really want to find out why women tend to stay unmarried. If I remember right, my grandparents on my dad's side, they were divorced, right, later in life after their kids all went away and grew up. And my grandmother never remarried, but my grandfather did, right? And so I wonder why that tends to be a phenomenon so much. I think maybe, hypothetically, I'm just giving conjecture here. I think maybe it's because women value the loyalty that they have in relationships more than men. And I think maybe women are more distraught or hurt when these relationships dissolve, if they do, right? And men, by and large, cling to the love and affection that they can get from women, or whatever sexuality they have, right? I guess. Uh, and they want to feel that feeling again and just keep it there consistently. And maybe it's more simple for men to just remarry, be with another woman, right? Because it's more likely for a man to cheat anyway. It's not hard for a man to find comfort and care in another woman, I guess. I hope not to remarry. I hope this second time is enough because I think Act Dennis is the perfect one for me. But I just wonder why. I'm just curious. Anyway, denial and remarriage. Many people do remarry, even though the divorce rate for second marriages hovers around 67%. This is up from approximately 50% for first marriages. Smith, 2021. But why the higher rates? People claim to have learned from their mistakes, but have they? Don't relatives and friends warn them of their choices? Have relationship therapists failed these people? Unfortunately, I've seen far too many individuals pull themselves out of a bad union and immediately drop out of treatment. They believe that they have reached their therapeutic goal, ending their relationship. They claim to have learned enough to move on and make better choices. In some cases, this is true, but in most cases, it is not. Often they report back to treatment having replicated another unhappy union and appear totally deflated and dismayed. Most express embarrassment about having to contact me. How did this happen again? Many ask. Yeah, if you're in therapy, I think even if it's couples therapy, the goal should be to get therapeutic care for yourself, for your mental and emotional well-being. And even if you decide to break up with the person that you're in couples therapy with, or even if you're going solo to therapy but you get a divorce, why quit going to therapy? Like, continue to get that treatment, continue to get that care, because there are still issues. I believe in every relationship, unless they're abusive and toxic and sick, and I hate the word toxic because people overuse it, but I think in every relationship, right, it takes two people. Nobody is perfect, and sometimes people are, bad for each other, and there are things that they do in that relationship that causes the other one to react negatively, or vice versa, right? And I'm not saying this justifies any sorts of abuse or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But we should always look at ourselves and our habits, because maybe they're not flaws, maybe they're just habits, and other people don't like them, right? So that's just my opinion. I definitely had that experience in my past relationships. with women. Something I did that's pretty normal, right? Like, for example, I scratched between my toes to get out the dead skin. I know that's gross, but Halima used to get so mad about that, really mad about that, that I do that around Dennis, and she doesn't really care, right? So there's not a point of contention between us. Anyway, it happened again because people choose the same partners over again. They may have chosen a taller person or someone who is better off financially. They may have chosen someone they consider more attractive. They may have avoided another abusive alcoholic or mentally ill partner, but they have left the one thing out that will have offered them the best protection against another poor choice. They did not get to know themselves well enough to understand how their unconscious dictates their mate selection. I knew that was coming. I knew it, even though I didn't read this article before. I knew that part was coming because we have to acknowledge ourselves, how we choose our mates, and what that says about us by who we pick. That's very important. And, when I think about the people that I pick to be my partners, I'll be honest with myself. I'll be 1,000% honest. I'm not the biggest fan of U.S. women, right? I'm not the biggest fan of American women, right? There are beautiful women in America, of course, absolutely. It's just for me, what's important is getting out of America first and foremost. And I don't think many Americans want to leave because we're brainwashed with this idea that we are living in the freest, best, richest country in the world, right? And everywhere else is just Mexico. I also am a Muslim, right? Even though I'm not the best practicing Muslim, I do have Islamic influence in my worldview and my cultural habits and my beliefs, and I want somebody from that background at least. And when it comes to race or skin color, I guess, black, white, Asian, doesn't matter to me at all. Literally, I've been with almost every type of woman on the planet, right? And I wanted things to work with Riham. She was almost perfect, right? But we had totally different worldviews and personalities, and that fell apart. And I'm so glad it did because I'm with Dennis, right? But I think understanding myself now when it comes to mate selection, I think I've chosen somebody who has good character, who makes me feel well, who understands me, who is very similar in my worldview, who's very intelligent, who I can communicate with, absolutely clear, which I could not do with Halima. And that's caused a great, 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 great world of difference in our dynamic rather than my first marriage. So I'm really looking forward to this second marriage and being with her for the rest of my life. Really love this girl. The more I talk about her now, the more I love her. Anyway, I am not placing blame. In fact, I do not believe in mistakes when it comes to choosing a mate. Rather, I see mate choice as an unconsciously predetermined process that, unless understood, will be difficult, if not impossible, to alter. The following is an example of this point. Case example. A couple in treatment separated when the male client discovered that his wife was having an affair with her coworker. Here I was talking about women don't cheat, right? Or women are less likely to cheat. Oh God, I got sunned quick. When caught, the wife ended the affair and showed remorse for her actions. She claimed that she wanted to stay married to her husband. The male client was hurt but forgave his wife and took ownership of his contribution to the affair. What? What is that? What is that? Why? I hate that. I hate that. When the whole Will and Jada thing happened, people were like, well, what does Will do that makes Jada cheat? But you would never say that if Will cheated on Jada. If Will cheated on Jada, we would never say, well, what did Jada do that caused Will to cheat? I don't get it. I think that's not fair. Honestly, that's pretty sexist. In my opinion, I don't know if my wife cheats on me, unless I'm abusing her or something crazy. Unless if we just have a regular relationship, maybe I ain't got that hammer, or maybe we don't do it enough. There's no reason to cheat. Please don't cheat. Keep it in your pants or become swingers. Anyway, the male client was hurt but forgave his wife and took ownership of his contribution to the affair. However, when the wife had another affair with a different man, However, when the wife had another affair with a different man, the male client decided to call it quits. The couple ended marital therapy, and although I recommended them to seek to each seek individual therapy. Neither did. The wife went off with her most recent lover, and I never heard from her again. Oh God, this is now. I know I said toxic is overused, but that was toxic as fuck. What it was that? Okay, the male client, more disturbed by the events, claimed that he enjoyed being married and that someday he would try again. Approximately 5 years later, the male client called me because he had remarried to another unfaithful wife. He knows how to pick them. He knows how to pick them. He's probably picking those, probably picking strippers, probably picking them scrippers. I asked him why he ignored my recommendation that he seek individual treatment, but he could not explain his resistance. He did say that it took him several months to call me, in part because he felt like an idiot. Ooh. Ugh. The male client in this case demonstrated a pattern of attraction to cheating women. His high school and college girlfriends cheated on him as well. While he acknowledged there was a tendency to choose cheating wives, he had to be convinced over time that there was a connection between the wives he chose and the girlfriends he chose. He initially thought one set of choices had nothing to do with the other in part, because of the great gap of time between the two sets of women. This struggle alone convinced me that he denied the force of his unconscious pattern. Yeah, okay, first and foremost, black men don't cheat. But the only time I've been cheated on by a girl, and by the way, this was like in high school or early college years, the only time I've been cheated on by a girl is when I cheated first. Period. I've never been cheated on before, as far as I know. Women, they might be really good at hiding that. But anytime I was in a serious relationship, like we call each other girlfriend or boyfriend, right? Never been cheated on unless she cheated first. Yeah. And I've forgiven people when they've cheated on me. I remember I was with this girl named Aisha in senior year high school, and I cheated with my ex, and then she cheated with some guy in her neighborhood, and then we got back together. I forgave her. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. All right. Yeah, but this guy in this case study, yeah, he obviously has a type. I don't know how you know a girl will cheat. I think maybe the guy might have also been throwing out hints and stuff in the house. You know, when guys are into something sexually, they often throw out hints often, you know, or your subconscious fears are reflected in mannerisms or things you say, little ticks throughout the day or throughout your life, right? And maybe this is the case that happened. I'm just hypothesizing here, but how do you consistently have women cheat on you unless you're cheating too, right? I think maybe he was giving them signals that this is what he likes. But maybe I've been watching too much cuck prawn. Anyway, as a young adult, the male client was witness to his father's numerous affairs and his passive mother's reactions. Ah. The client was terribly upset by this and tried to intervene to no avail. That is, he could not get his father to stop cheating nor his mother to stand up for herself. Wow, no, that's deep. It might be simple enough to conclude that the male client role modeled his mother's victim by marrying women who also cheated on him, but it was more complicated than that. Therapeutic insight came when the male client discovered that he chose cheating women because he viewed them as empowered and in control. Aha, so it is a sort of fetish. I knew it. I knew it. So the part about his mom being cheated on, and so then he tries to, I guess, forgive the sins of his father by getting cheated on by his girlfriends, maybe. I don't know, but it's also a little bit of a little kink play. I think it's kinky. He's into some kink stuff, man. Put his ass in one of those little cages. Anyway, I'm not into that stuff at all. That stuff is weird to me. I'm just about monogamy. Threesomes, maybe. Thruples, no. These women were attractive to the male client who longed for his mother to be more powerful in dealing with her cheating husband. The male client was willing enough to make this fantasy a reality, even though he risked being treated poorly. Until he reached this level of insight, he was at the mercy of his masochistic attraction. Okay. Yeah. It seems like he was unable. Well, let me read the conclusion. Then I'll give my 2 cents. All right. What the previous example makes clear is that it is often difficult for any of us to free ourselves from that which is deeply internalized, including mate choice. If you married an alcoholic, for example, you may avoid repeating this dynamic, but you will avoid a different type of addict. But will you avoid a different type of addict or someone who may behave similarly? Okay. Acty sent me a voicemail. I'll check it later, boo. Knowing yourself and who you are attracted to on the deepest level is the way to prevent replication. It may be the key to avoiding a poor choice the second time around. Here are the references. All right. So that's the end of the article. That was interesting. Yeah, I think there's a lot to say there. As for me, I'm pretty sure that I've avoided some, of the things that fell apart in my first marriage. I can I am very, very, very hypercritical of myself. I always like overthink what I'm thinking. I try to understand why I think what I think and try to even play devil's advocate to my own ideas, right? And the more I have thought about my relationship with Agdenis and compared it to Halima, it's almost night and day, and I'm also considering myself, like how much I've changed too. And in this case, I've changed by getting a better job, having more security and safety and stability in my life, having a greater work life balance, uh, being more confident in myself, being more sure of what I want to do in the future, and just being more happy, generally more happy. And that comes with freedom and time and age and experience. And, I'm so happy I'm 31. I'm so happy that I've been able to learn from my mistakes and not have to pay permanently for those, uh, uh, transgressions. You know, I've done some bad things, but I've also done a lot of good, and I've also done a lot of reflecting. And I know karma is real. With every action, there's a reaction. And as far as this marriage that I'm getting into now, I think that the mistakes I made in the past will not be repeated. Uh, Thank you, Stephen, for this advice. That was from Psychology Today. Let's go here to Terry Gaspard, MSW, LICSW. She's also another therapist. Terry Gaspard, MSW, LICSW, is a licensed therapist and author. She is a contributor to Huffington Post, the Good Men Project, the Gottman Institute blog, and Marriage.com. Her new book out now is The Remarriage Manual, How to Make Everything Work Better the Second Time Around. Follow Terry on Twitter, Facebook, and movingpastdivorce.com. So let's take a look at what Terry has to say. All right. I'm sure it's good advice. She's more than qualified. All right. 10 rules for a successful second marriage. Respect, positive communication, and having a good sense of humor go a long way in making your second marriage last a lifetime. While many couples see remarriage as a second chance at happiness, the statistics tell a different story. According to available census data, the divorce rate for second marriages in the United States is over 60%. That scares me. But the only part that's different is I'm not going back to America. Y'all can keep it. We'll go to visit, but I will never live in the States again. It's over 60% compared to around 50% for first marriages, right? Why are second marriages more likely to fail? One explanation is the formation of blended families, which can cause loyalty issues with stepchildren and rivalries between co-parents. Luckily for me and Agdenis, we don't have kids from anybody else. No kids at all. I don't have kids that I know of. No, I don't. But there are many other difficulties and stresses that come with remarrying. A foundation of trust and intimacy is vital to beating the odds. Everyone has baggage. When people get remarried, they often bring unhealthy relationship patterns and trust issues from their first marriage that can sabotage the new relationship. Sometimes this baggage can cause couples to rush into tying the knot, without truly getting to know each other. Yeah. For instance, if you were betrayed by your former spouse, you may be overly suspicious and lack confidence in your new partner. Here's how Kayla put it. We've only been married for a few years, she paused, but I'm already questioning Jake when he's late from work, full of mistrust and accusations. It's become clear that Kayla was having difficulty trusting Jake due to her ex-husband's affair. Yeah, Like I said earlier, my problems with Halima weren't really with her. She was a good girl. I was just really fucked up at the time. So I cussed. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I just wasn't ready at the time to be a good man. And we sort of definitely rushed tying the knot, even though that was our first marriage for both of us. I don't have any preconceived bad habits or suspicions of Act Dennis because, like, like I said, I've let go of all the anger that I've had for my first marriage, and moving into this one, it's all about love and happiness and the adventures that we're going to get into. So, I don't think this advice really applies to me, but as a 31-year-old man, right? I have baggage, I guess. I have things that I've been through that still bother me and trouble me, like what happens in my country and, you know, what happens just being black abroad and being black in the world. And the good thing about Act Dennis is that she really is sympathetic towards and understands uh, my worldview, right? And she's very, uh, how do I say this? Like in tune with what I say and what my intentions are, and how I explain the world to her, and how she challenges me sometimes, and how we come to a conclusion together, right? And I can tell her about my experiences as a black person, and she'll support me, and I can also, bounce ideas off of her too, about why certain things happen and how we can change the world as well. All right, but let's go to the second piece of advice. Be vulnerable. It makes sense that a fear of vulnerability can be a real dilemma in a second marriage, yet not expressing our innermost feelings, thoughts, and wishes can actually put a relationship more at risk because we lose out on the trust and intimacy that vulnerability offers. Being vulnerable with your partner can make you feel exposed, but it is the most important ingredient of a trusting, intimate relationship. In Daring Greatly, Dr. Brené Brown defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Given this definition, the act of loving someone and allowing them to love you may be the ultimate risk. Dr. John Gottsman writes in What Makes Love Last that life tends to go better for those who have the courage to trust others. So, uh, I think I can be pretty vulnerable. I've, said I haven't. The only thing I haven't done around Act Dennis is cried yet, right? Haven't cried yet, as far as my knowledge. Yeah, I haven't cried at all. But yeah, I tell her almost everything, every single thought. If you think I say a lot on this YouTube channel, imagine living with me, right? Uh, the thing that I've been the most vulnerable about her about is probably my worries about money. Being an ESL teacher, I definitely do not make a lot of money, but I've come to peace with that, with the freedom that I have to do what I want with my life and go different places and see different things. And that's cool. I'm just worried about my financial future so much because being an ESL teacher, we don't get pensions, we don't have 401ks. There's no retirement plan for us. We just got to figure it out and hopefully make something work. All right, create realistic expectations. Accept that there are inevitable ups and downs in remarried life. New love is a wonderful feeling, but it doesn't make up for the pain of divorce, nor does it automatically restore the family to its former status. According to step family expert Maggie Scarf, on the contrary, remarriage will present couples with a number of unanticipated design issues, such as loyalty binds, the breakdown of parenting tasks, and the uniting of disparate family cultures. So, yeah, I feel like I've been very realistic with ACK. I'm taking all this advice in. I'm just, I'm not discrediting it by saying, yeah, like, yeah, I've been vulnerable. Yeah, I've been giving advice. No, I'm taking it all in. It's just, I'm taking the advice in, evaluating what we've been talking about and what we've been through and stuff like that. And, so far so good with her and I because we're on the same page. I've explained to her exactly what I want to do with my life, what I hope she does. I'm here to support her in whatever she does. She wants to continue so she can go be a therapist like these people are. And I'm here to support her 1,000%. I want to be a stay-at-home dad. I just want to, teach English online and breastfeed my babies. That's all. So, a key issue for remarried couples to address is interpersonal communication. This is especially true when it comes to finances, how to discipline children and stepchildren, personality conflicts in the newly created family, and rivalries between family members. Below are 10 powerful rules I've learned from working with remarried couples and in my own second marriage. Build a culture of appreciation, respect, and tolerance. Author Kyle Benson says, when you can, express what you cherish about your partner. The idea is to catch your partner doing something right and say, thanks for doing that. I noticed you unloaded the dishwasher and I really appreciate that. Oh, that's good advice. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. Build a culture of appreciation, respect, and tolerance. Practice being vulnerable in small steps. Build confidence and being more open with your partner. Discuss minor issues like schedules, and meals is a great place to start before tackling bigger matters like disciplining kids or managing finances. Yes, being vulnerable is important. Create time and a relaxed atmosphere to interact with your partner. Ask for what you need in an assertive, non aggressive way and be willing to see each other's side of the story. In the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, Dr. Gottman encourages us to respond to our partner's bids for attention, affection, and support. This can be something minor like please make the salad, or as significant as accompanying our partner on a trip to visit an ill parent. Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, creating time for us is actually something that we discussed. And we also want some alone time. Uh, I'm not going to give all the details of our conversation, but she wants some more alone time because I'm in the house all day because I work online, right? So she'll get some alone time, I guess. I'll go out for long strolls in the park, I guess. But uh, yeah, if we talk about relaxed atmosphere to interact with our partner, I feel like her and I are intimate a lot. And not sexually, but I mean just like intimate. Like we have times where we just hold hands and walk together and talk and stuff like that, and we're there for each other. Uh, I need to work on being assertive and not aggressive when I speak because I can be sometimes very coarse and rough when I speak. I want to change that about myself. Discuss expectations to avoid misunderstandings. Take a risk and deal with hurt feelings, especially if it's an important issue, rather than stonewalling and shutting down. In Marriage Rules, Harriet Lerner posits that a good fight can clear the air. She writes that it's nice to know we can survive conflict and even learn from it. Yeah, uh, a fight, I believe, a light fight, a small disagreement that doesn't involve name calling, ad hominems, and shouting. Yeah, that could clear the air, I guess. But when it becomes personal and nasty and ugly or violent, that's when it's not good. But we have to be clear about everything. We can't hide stuff. Prepare for conflict. Understand that conflict doesn't mean the end of your marriage. Dr. Gottman's research on thousands of couples discovered that conflict is inevitable in all relationships, and 69% of problems in a marriage go unresolved. Despite this, conflict can be managed successfully and the marriage can thrive. Stephanie Maines, LCSW, advises us to take a short break if we feel overwhelmed or flooded as a way to restore positive communication with our partner. Communicate effectively. Accept responsibility for your role in a disagreement. Listen to your partner's requests and ask for a clarification on issues that are unclear. Use I statements rather than you statements that tend to come across as blameful, such as I felt hurt when you purchased the car, without discussing it with me. Yeah. Effective communication. Prepare for conflict. These two things, easier said than done, but it takes practice and time and also understanding and love, because if you love your person that you're with, you'll be patient with them. Embrace your role as a step parent. This isn't really for us. I'll read it anyway. The role of the step parent is one of an adult friend, mentor, and supporter rather than a disciplinarian. Learn new strategies and share your ideas with your partner. There's no such thing as instant love. When step parents feel unappreciated or disrespected by their stepchildren, they will have difficulty bonding with them, causing stress for the step family. Okay? Attune to your partner. Oh, by the way, the only comment I would say is if I was a stepdad, I think the only rule is that you can't hit somebody else's kid. That's all. That's all. That's all I'll say. Um, Eye contact and body posture demonstrate your intention to listen and compromise. Practicing what Dr. John Gottman calls emotional attunement while relaxing together can help you stay connected despite your differences. Yeah, I think I've suggested to Acti that we start meditating, which I think will be good for us. This means turning toward one another and showing empathy rather than turning away. His 40 years of research showed that happy couples have a 5-to-1 ratio of interactions during conflict, meaning for every negative interaction, you need 5 positive ones. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to use that. So if I do something bad, I have to do 5 good things for Acti to make her happy. Um, yeah. Establish an open ended dialogue. Don't make threats or issue ultimatums. Yeah, don't do that. That's bad. Avoid saying things you'll regret later. That's easier said than done. Money is one of the most common things remarried couples argue about, and full disclosure about finances is key to the success of the remarriage so resentment doesn't build up. Yeah, big, very important. I spoke about money before, but I think I've made it very clear. My intentions. I'll probably never be a millionaire, but I want to at least have a nice house, a car, a home outside of the States, and just be happy. Practice forgiveness. Accept that we all have flaws. Forgiveness isn't the same as condoning the hurt done to you, but it will allow you to move on and remember you are on the same team. The best way to beat the odds and make your second marriage succeed is to create a culture of appreciation and respect in your home. It's also crucial to risk being vulnerable with your partner so that you can build trust and intimacy. Determination, respect, acceptance, positive communication, and having a good sense of humor can go a long way in making sure your second marriage lasts a lifetime. So, I'll end with this. I'm really excited to get married again. I'm very happy about it. I'm glad that Act Dennis accepts me for me. The only thing I feel bad about is how I treated some of the last girls I dated. Uh, you know, when Acti and I were getting serious, we had a split for a good month, I believe. And I started, dating again, and I got semi-serious with somebody. And then when Acti came back in my life, I literally just cut off everybody, stopped talking to them, and nothing bad happened to them. I didn't ruin anybody's lives, you know what I mean? But I just feel like a dick, like a real dick, for how I treated those girls. You know what I mean? I've never apologized to them. I've never said sorry. I feel like I should, though I feel like also they've moved on too. It's not a big deal, but overall, I'm really excited to be with my new wife. I love Acti so much because she makes me feel like somebody understands me and gets me. You know how they say there's one person out there for you? I feel like I was lucky enough to find that one person out there who truly loves me, like with all her heart. And that's a good thing. And so tomorrow's the day that I have to remember for the rest of my life. And I'm looking forward to it. So, future Simon, if you're watching this, I hope you've treated Acti well. I hope you and her are happy wherever you are. And I hope you have much success in all the things that you're thinking in your head that you want to do that you have not had the chance to do. You get to see all the countries you want to go to, play the songs you want to play, write new songs, and make more videos and make the world a better place, hopefully. So thanks for watching my video. My name is Simon Hill. Getting married tomorrow. Woo! I did it. Thanks. Peace.